Have you seriously ever done the math on what your time is worth? I talked to this guy just now and it blew my mind. For the sake of this, we'll call him Jacob. Jacob is the guy that he lives down in Florida in a nicer part of town. He's a chef at a nice restaurant. And so, of course, being a chef at a nice restaurant, he has to live near the restaurant. And the restaurant is in a nicer area. So, this was mind-blowing to me. So, I was talking to Jacob, and what I found was he was a chef. It was a pretty admirable job. He was cooking some awesome dishes. And what we found is that he gets paid about $20. Let me fix this. He gets paid about $20 an hour. And if you do the math, he's working like 48, 50 hours a week. And with 40 hours a week, that's equivalent of about $800 a week. I'd say the average month, there's about 4 months, so that would be about $3,200 a month. Lo and behold, he lives in a nice place. Guess how much his rent is? His rent at his house, which he probably doesn't even have that nice of a house. He lives in a beautiful area though. But he's paying $2,500 a month for his rent. I want to make sure that you guys can see that. Move myself over. Okay. The crazy thing is if you do the math, he's essentially working 40 hours a week. He's working, let's say, like a total of 160 hours a month. And in order for him to pay for this, if you do the math real quick, you do 2,500 divided by 20. This is before taxes, by the way. He's spending essentially 125 hours a single month just purely making sure that he can pay for his rent. That is it. All of that to pay for his rent. That is ridiculous. That's ridiculous. That's a waste of your time. You're going and spending so much of your time to get nothing. Now, personal happiness aside, obviously, like I said, that is a completely different thing. Is he happy? He sounded pretty happy. But at the same time, he sounded happy, but like overall, but I want to do something else. I want to become like a Twitch streamer or something like that. Which awesome. I see a lot of guys have successful Twitch streamers. I don't have to help Twitch streamers do that. But what you have to realize is the math ain't math in here. Out of this 3,200, and this is like pre-tax, by the way, he's paying like basically 80% of it towards rent. Just purely rent. And the thing is, that's crazy, is these rates are probably going to keep going up. I don't think they're going down from here. Guys, well, I don't know. I'm not like some economist or anything like that. I'm not some fancy dude, do the title or anything like that. But the guy is this is only going to go up. And is his pay going to go up at the same rate? Probably not. So first thing that I would evaluate there in that scenario, and we'll just jump back over into the camera. First thing I would ask myself there is, does this make sense? That's cool. That probably get to live in a nice area, but does it seriously make sense? You probably get a similar paying job, even as maybe a server, as a chef. I don't know. I'm not in the food industry. I've never worked in a restaurant personally. I don't know what it's like. I will have to give you guys that disclaimer, but the math ain't mathing. Now, what I can do is I will go and show you a little bit of a new variation of this with how you need to view your time. I'm gonna do it new. So we'll jump back into the beautiful whiteboard that we have here. And I will walk you guys through another scenario that I myself am going through right now. I currently have right now a YouTube channel that generates anywhere from, on the low end, let's say like 20, to on the high end, 40 a month. Just one YouTube channel. This is gross revenue. This isn't pure profit, but I'm using this for the sake of the example on the map. If I'd done the expenses, I totally could, but we're trying to get this to 100,000, whatever. Just for the sake of the map. So this YouTube channel requires anywhere from, let's just say like conservatively here, 1 hour to, let's say on the high end, just putting a little bit more time into it, say maximum 4 hours a month. I usually don't do this. I'll calculate both, but just for the sake of the math here, just so you guys can get the principle here, because I know these numbers are a little bit unrealistic for most of you, but it really isn't that crazy unrealistic. So if you do the math, on the low end, on this side over here, each month, my time generates about $5,000. If you do the math, you just take 20,000 divided by 4 hours. On the high end, which this is a little bit more realistic, we'll take the number right down the middle, is my time is worth about $30,000 an hour. Like I said, I'm not showing you guys proof. I'm just purely just talking over my head. I don't really feel like showing proof right now. If you want proof that I make a lot of money, just go watch my other YouTube videos, go opt into one of my sales calls or something like that. That's all this video is about. So the main thing here is the principle of this is it's not about what you get paid necessarily, but it's how you get paid. Now, I will be honest, I will be transparent with you. If I were to work 20 hours a month on this project right here, it wouldn't be worth my time. Like, it's not possible for me to put that many hours into this business. Just because at this point, I'm so leveraged, like, I'll get diminishing returns the more time I put into this. For me, it's all about more so being like a decision maker, controller of the asset, deciding the direction of this. But even if I did put in 20 hours a month into this, then that would come out to 2K. Am I doing that wrong? I'd do on the low end, I'd be like 1K. I'm not going to go and do that just due to it really doesn't make sense for my time to be put into this. It is more so like an asset, and we have people that do the hard work for this. My job is not really operations. It's more so vision and ownership, and so often check-ins. But it's not like you compare this, and then my rent right now is, let's say for the sake of this video, after all sorts of expenses, whatever, it's, I don't know, let's say 4K just on rent that I pay, whatever. I get to live in a beautiful neighborhood, blah, 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 blah. Probably the same type of neighborhood as this dude, but the thing is, do the math here. This guy is spending, I don't know, what's the math do you have of awake hours in a month? Let's see. So you have about 112 hours a week of waking hours. So you have about 440, I just did the math, so it's like, if you do the math here, we'll make it go. So if you do the math, you have about 112 hours a week. And then from the 112 hours a week, you about minus 40 for just work. And so that leaves you with 72 hours a week. And then on top of that, probably take in the fact of you have on top of that, you also have traffic, all these other things. But if we were to do the math real quick, so you have 72 times 4. So you have about 280, like, I don't the entire month. You probably have 450 hours a month. Now, here's where it gets really saucy. Is the crazy thing is it's taking him on the low end 125 hours a month in order to pay for his rent, or to be able to afford, goes back on in order for him to afford his lifestyle, sort of say. So if you do the math here, he does 125 just in affording his rent, comes out to 323 hours left in the month. So essentially, it's a little bit more, but we'll say about 1/4 of his entire lifetime, this person, Jacob, is going towards rent. And I can move myself again real quick. There you go, just so you guys can see it. That is crazy to me. I'm just like, my words out here, so I'm doing the visual representation of everything. So you guys can at least kind of get the point that I'm trying to make here. Like I said, I'm not well articulated enough today. I wanted to rant about this real quick. So busy time out of my busy day to make this video for you guys. Versus, let's say, on the low end, for me, for over 4 hours a month on this project right here. Like I said, this is a little bit like, this is just more so how you get paid, not what you get paid. But how I get paid in this project specifically, or this one income stream, is it's equivalent of 1 hour of my entire month is geared towards making sure that this lifestyle is covered. So out of what was the math, 450 hours a month divided by 1 minus 1. So if you do the math, 1 divided by 450, so there's approximately less than 2%, 0.2% of my life goes towards making sure that my rent is paid. Versus, like I said, I'm just doing this for the principle, not necessarily these are accurate numbers. Over here, We have 125 hours divided by 450. This guy is spending 27%, quarter of his time just geared towards rent. So either 0.2% or a quarter. Now, I will say there's been many years that has gone into this. Been like a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, and just a lot of time staring at a computer screen and making stuff work. But we're the same age now at this point. He's 25, I'm 24 years old. The math ain't mathing there. I think you guys got the message from this video. Like I said, I wasn't well articulated today. I just wanted to get this out on video and just get this out on YouTube. If this helps one person, maybe even Jacob, if you're watching this, go figure out how to reduce your expenses, figure out how to take that extra cash, or you need to figure out every waking minute of your day to build assets, pay you monthly, or a business, or something along those lines that get it to where it pays for you monthly. Like I said, I'm not using numbers for the sake of using numbers. It's not about how much you get paid. It's about how you get paid and the principle of everything. So figure out how to get, I see some people where they make the same amount and they're just beyond wealthy. It really depends on how you go about using your money. If your expenses are crazy high, when you have a pretty low base income, you need to figure something out there. You need to figure out ways to either grow your income, decrease your income, take that extra spin off cash, put it into something that's able to produce you cash flow until it gets to a point where the cash flow is able to generate more than your lifestyle expenses, and it at least pays for your lifestyle. So that way, you're not working for that time. Maybe get it to a point where it takes you an hour a month to generate $4,000 a month. And then now at least it takes an hour a month to get it to where it pays for everything. Or even let's say an hour a month to make $2,500 a month. That's totally doable. Or even an hour a week, 5 hours a week, even 5 hours a week. If we were to do the math, 5 times 4, 20 hours a month. If you're making $2,500 a month divided by 20, that's about $125 an hour. Just off of purely getting cash producing assets. 5 hours a week, that's still a good amount of time. I see a lot of my people that I work with, they're full-time doctors, they're full-time anesthesiologists, they're registered nurses. That's what they're called, I can't remember. They're nurses in a hospital. They're dietitians. They're people that have full-time lives and schedules. They're able to put 5 hours a week into this. They're able to get to where they're making $4,000 or $5,000 a month. And their time is also now worth so much more. Quit calculating your time at $20 an hour. Calculate your time at $500 an hour, $1,000 an hour. Figure out what decisions you need to make your time worth that much. Like I said, it's not about what you get paid. It's about the principle of how you get paid. And when you change that mindset, now you have all the bandwidth in the world. You can to where it's 5 hours a week. You're able to make $2,500 a month, or even $3,000, $4,000 a month. You have the rest of your month to think and do shit with your life. Now you get your time back. While I was editing this video, I realized there's another part with calculating your time as well. If you're standing in line and the line takes an hour to walk, something where you're spending money, let's say it takes an hour to spend $100, that means that your time is worth, in that instance, you're negative $100. And if you're standing in lines in places, or you're returning an item, and say the item's worth $20 and it takes you an hour to wait in line, your time's still worth $20. If you go spend 30 minutes to go park versus the cost of valet, the cost of valet is usually anywhere from $10 to $20. If you're in a busy city, I get it, sometimes $4 an hour, it's ridiculous. But if you think about it, $10, in some places they even do it for free. You don't even have to pay for the parking. But if it's $10 and it saves you 30 minutes or 20 minutes or even 10 minutes to go to the parking, do the math real quick. We do $10 times 60. $10 times 6. That means your time, if your time is worth more than $6 an hour, you made money. You still made money. If anything, your time is worth, do the math on what the things that you're doing. If you go to the grocery store, like most people do, and say it takes 2 hours, you're basically saying, and then let's say that it costs $40 to hire somebody to do it for you. You use like Instacart or something like that. Let's say an hour. 1 hour times 40 versus $40. You're saying that your time is worth $40 an hour. Instead, do the math on what your time would be like if it was $100, $500, $1,000 an hour. And then do the math from there and ask yourself, is this worth my time? Now, obviously, you got to put yourself in a position where you can make more money, but do the math. Just do the math on your time.